Hi everyone, Bernard here on behalf of MovieGameNostalgia.com. I hope you're okay. This is a little movie review on a Netflix movie. We do touch on these things, don't we, that's now available to watch to Netflix members, and I'm sure it can be streamed on other sources as well. And it's Da 5 Bloods. There you go, Da 5 Bloods, if I said that right. I don't know. Anyway, please, if you're new to the channel, please push that old subscribe button. Tell your friends, push the notification button so you know when these little vlogs and movie specials and TV drama reviews are coming out, etc, etc. Yeah, Da 5 Bloods, it caused a bit of controversy. I've been looking at reviews. Obviously, with what's been going on in the world, obviously it's even hit us over here in the UK with the Black Lives Matter thing, and obviously statues being pulled down of slave traders, etc. So it has affected us in the UK, but I've tried to watch the film as entertainment, which I always try to do with films. I'm not too worried about the political side of things, the historical accuracies, etc, etc. I just watch a film to be entertained, and that's all I did with this little film, which is classed as a war drama. 2 hours, 34 minutes. And of course, I do like Spike Lee. It's directed and produced by Spike Lee. I do like a lot of his stuff. I did really enjoy Black Klansman, which obviously gets a few mentions when I look through the reviews, and obviously people are comparing this in the main unfavourably with their Black Klansman, Black Klansman, which if I get the name right would be all right, wouldn't it? I thought it was a really good film. I did enjoy that one when I watched that. This stars Delroy Lindo. I mean, a few actors in this. Delroy Lindo, Jonathan Majors, Clark Peters, Norm Lewis, Paul Walker Hauser, and it's about a group of African American Vietnam War veterans who return to search for their squad leader and also a box of gold, which happens to be there. That obviously the hid away obviously back during the Vietnam War days. It had quite the biggest budget I think for a Spike Lee film ever, about $45 million approximately. Is it liked? As I said, I've seen there's a lot of negativity and controversy over it. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes liked it, which is usually not a bad sign. It's got a 91% overall positive approval rating. That's based on 144 reviews, and an overall score of 7.86 out of 10, which is incredibly healthy. The consensus, just reading from their quote, fierce energy and ambition course through the movie. One of Spike Lee's most urgent and impactful films. Well, a lot of positivity there. The Metascore, the critics, well, even that they like it as well. 8.1 out of 10 based on 40 reviews. There's only one gentleman didn't like it. I won't name him to embarrass him, but someone give it 4 out of 10, but the rest give it 7 out of 10 or more. So obviously that pushed it to the 8.1 out of 10. Some of the comments, obviously, although it's mainly positive, but some of these comments are a little bit negative, and they weren't from the person who gave it 4 out of 10 either. So obviously there are reservations even in the high scores. We've got overlong and erratic, messy and complicated, Lee firing off all rounds in all directions. Its playfulness as well as its raw power keeps you glued. So that's probably one of the more positive little sentiments by the critics. Internet Movie Database rating. Now this is where it's a funny one. It's got a 7.1 out of 10, which is a good score. 7.1 out of 10, but it's a little bit lower than obviously the critics scores, and this obviously is Joe Public. And obviously, there's a lot for people leave scores on Internet Movie Database. They either leave a score and a review, or they just leave a score and that's it. So I've noticed when I'm looking through the reviews, most people who've actually gone to the bother actually commenting have been quite on the more negative side. It's probably about 60-40 on the negative, but overall to get a 7.1 out of 10 score, obviously it has been well received. So you're probably talking, obviously, well, you're talking 70% positivity rating at least, aren't you? So some of the comments from the Internet Movie Database users, which is you and I, the watchers, the general public. A Spike Lee movie I don't like. Great, not for everyone. Not a patch on Black Klansman. Not Klinsman. I'm thinking of footballer in the old days. Huge disappointment. Too long. A Spike Lee disjoint. See what I did there? Very confused. a Spike Lee joint for all ages. So I mean, that was for the ages, sorry, not all ages, probably, well, for all ages. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, a lot of younger, you know, it's not exactly, it's not going to be an 18 certificate. Strange film, Oscar worthy, followed by someone saying the acting was awful. So you've got Oscar worthy, obviously, who's not talking about the acting, presumably, because obviously the next comment from another person is acting awful. Magnificent, Spike does it again. Why do 60, 70-year-olds play 20-year-olds? But we'll get onto that in a minute. I mean, that's just part of the film, and I thought that was just part of the film. Actually, I thought it was planned to be like that. I didn't when I come to do my little review. Yeah, movie game nostalgia. I mean, some interesting reviews there, aren't there? You can see a right mishmash and a right mix-up of opinions on this Spike Lee effort. My main criticism isn't particularly about the film, although it is a bit all over the place, is the length. It is far too long. I mean, you watch the first hour and I was finding myself doing other little bits and pieces because it just drags and drags and drags that first hour. There's no real build-up of characters either. That's what's disappointing. I mean, we do get the Vietnam flashbacks, and this is where the age thing comes into it, because you've got the younger guy who's obviously, he's not aged, and I thought it was a, and it probably is, because I've not read up on anyone else, what everyone else thinks. I think it's a play on the fact that this guy died young and these other guys are obviously in the 60, 70-year-olds. So the flashbacks are as the squad leader as he was in his early 20s or whatever. But all these guys that are with him, even though it's a flashback, are obviously their age now. And I thought it was a play on that. I thought it was a very, very clever way of doing it. Well, some people are commenting that, why have they done this? Why are 60-year-old guys playing 20-year-old men? You know, it's stupid, looks daft. But I think it was, as in any remembrance thing, they, you know, those they don't grow old, do they? But we do. So I thought that was a play by Spike Lee, and I'm fairly sure it would be. I mean, I've certainly not gone and read different articles on it, or Spike Lee's opinions, but I think that was the reason for it. I might be totally wrong. Please let me know in the comments. But that's my reading of it anyway. So it didn't bother me, because I think that's what that's the effect they were trying to get. So yeah, I thought they could have built more of the characters with the flashbacks as well as the relationships. Obviously, we saw a little bit as they were older men, obviously, but it was sort of a little bit. The chemistry wasn't quite right, and I think the chemistry would have been a lot closer, a lot tighter in real life based on what they'd gone through in Vietnam. So I found that a little bit confusing, and the fact the first hour was so slow. They could have certainly built more of that into the film, because it's certainly two and a half hours. It's just far too long. I mean, for what we did see, an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes would have been absolutely adequate. I think it's more routine than a normal Spike Lee film. Yeah, it is all over the place, but it is a sort of basic, to me, action thriller. I mean, it's just a really, once it gets going, once the first hour gets past. I mean, it's a war drama, but obviously once that first hour goes, and it does liven up a little bit. But there's so much going on, and even though obviously I say it is 2.5 hours, it just seems too long. Even though there's lots and lots going on, could have been far better put together. But it does, to me, it's a more routine film by Spike Lee. It's not sort of out there, off the wall sort of thing. It's just a bog standard sort of film by Spike Lee. You know, nothing really clever about it. Just as it is. Yeah. So underneath it all, there is a good film there. But some of these inconsistencies, as I said, do let it down a little bit. And as I said, you know, it sort of followed a pattern all the way through, and had decent flashbacks with a bit more information with the flashbacks, because there's certainly got some good action scenes. I think it would have been a lot more better. So that's my opinion. I think it's quite a good film. I mean, I've not actually put a score down here, what I think. I'm going to give it, I'm not going to go as high as the public. I'm not going to go as high as 7. I would have nearly give it a 7, but I think I'd give it a 6.5, because I think I've underlined a couple of things here: disjoint and confused. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think it's not confusing as in you can't understand what's going on, but it is a bit all over the place, and a bit, you know, you sort of forget things, and it sort of has a dream quality to some of it. It sort of just has as though this isn't really happening. It is obviously what happens. It's not as though something happens and then another alternative to the scene comes. It does happen, but there's sort of like a dream effect to it. But that's because there's so much going on and different things sort of bombarding you for say the last hour and 15 minutes or so, as I say, because the first hour it's pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. That's Fire Bloods now showing on Netflix. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. But yeah, I enjoy as entertainment. Forget the politics. Forget Black Lives Matter, as in the film side of it. I'm not saying that doesn't matter. Forget that as far as watching a film and being entertained is concerned. For itself, obviously, there's little elements put onto it that are more in line with what's going on in the world right at the end, but obviously that's just added to the film, and obviously as a special sort of Spike Lee wanted to show that element of it, and we saw Martin Luther King, etc., which is fantastic. But as far as the entertainment of the film was concerned, it was again just something to the side really that looks as though it's been added on. To be honest with you, it looks what it is. It looks as though it's just an add-on for the time we're living in, unfortunately. But no, as a film, yeah, I did quite enjoy it, and as I say, it could have been so much better. But please, Spike, 2.5 hours. No, come on, we're not talking an epic here, even though it's a Vietnam thing. Obviously, it just didn't warrant that length of time, to be honest with you. And obviously, I did like it. So let me know anyway. Let me know what you think. Please, for all the latest movie news, follow me on Twitter at nostalgia_movie or at Charles Deneen. Deneen spelled D-I-N-N-E-N. I'm on Facebook at Bernard Deneen, and also check my links to my little website, moviegamenostalgia.com, for old and rare DVDs, movie posters from the 1990s and 2000s, and board games as well. So if you can spare 5 minutes to go on there, thumbs up to you. And please, if you can leave me a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic. It's great to get views, but it's nice to get thumbs up. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Please do let me know what you think if you get to watch the film. I say I did enjoy it, and it's weird because I don't know what I sort of expected, but it was to me it was just sort of standard sort of war film with a bit of robbery thrown in, lots of few action scenes. It was just very, very plain for Spike Lee for me. I don't as I say, and just as an entertaining film, I'll give it 6.5 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family, and more importantly, let's all look after each other, whatever colour we are. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's Bird saying goodbye for now.